Good morning. I thank you for staying with us in our first session of Reading Wikipedia in the Classroom program. I am Joyce Guzman, a secondary school teacher here in Naga City, Camarines Sur, Philippines. I will be facilitating our discussion of Topic 2, which introduces you to Wikipedia basics. Sit back and relax, and let's find out what's this interesting world called Wikipedia. To start the session, I would like to direct your attention to the following questions. First, do you remember the first time you encountered Wikipedia? Second, how did you find it? And third, what did you think of it? For your answers, feel free to type them in the comments or you can unmute your mic and share your answers with us. So here we go. I appreciate the time you have put into sharing your thoughts about the three questions I have given you. And now I'm excited to hear and also read your answers in the comments. Some of you encountered Wikipedia years back when you tried to search, and it's the first entry that appeared in the Google search. And then there's Maria's response that she's encountered it in the paper submitted by her student. On the question of how you found Wikipedia, here are some answers from you. Leslie found it very helpful because it contains a lot of information about various topics. Sarah thinks it's an awesome site because there are translations in the Bicol language, which makes reading easier not only for the teacher but for her students as well. And I think this is similar to Aine's answer. She says that her students like reading the articles about climate change, specifically about typhoons that occurred in the region because they're written in Bicol. Wow. For the question, how you think of it or how you think of Wikipedia, there's a response from Claire, and she says that she's hesitant to use it because anyone can contribute to it, although no one that one might not be knowledgeable about the topic. And then there's also John's answer. I use it as a springboard to look for additional materials on the topic I want to read about. I look at the reference section and click them. Nice. You've all given great answers. So again, thank you for sharing your thoughts. And now I will share with you some arguments that respond to the main misconceptions about Wikipedia. First, let us know what is Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a free online encyclopedia that strives to share the sum of all knowledge. It is written collaboratively by largely anonymous volunteers who write without pay. Anyone with internet access can write and make changes to Wikipedia articles, except in limited cases where editing is restricted to prevent disruption or vandalism. Since its creation on January 15, 2001, Wikipedia has grown into the world's largest reference website, attracting about 1.5 billion unique visitors monthly as of March 2020. It currently has more than 54 million articles in more than 300 languages, including 6,133,962 articles in English, with an average of 100,000 active contributors every month. Wikipedia is a free and open resource for everyone. In fact, Wikipedia is an open educational resource or OER. But what does OER mean, or what does the word open mean? Open knowledge or free knowledge is knowledge that one is free to use, reuse, and redistribute without legal, social, or technological restriction. According to UNESCO, Open educational resources or OER are teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium, whether digital or otherwise, that reside in the public domain or have been released under an open license that permits no-cost access, use, adaptation, and redistribution by others with no or limited restrictions. In 2019, UNESCO adopted a recommendation on OERs, encouraging governments worldwide to support the production, curation, and use of OERs for classroom learning. Using OERs instead of traditional publications has many benefits. First, it reduces the cost of producing educational materials. Secondly, it gives teachers the ability to freely use, adopt, and remix materials without worrying about copyright infringement. Finally, pedagogical considerations around the use of OERs shift our relationship with knowledge and educational resources. In Wikimedia Foundation's work with teachers around the world, we've heard a lot of misconceptions about Wikipedia. And unfortunately, they often lead to teachers feeling uncomfortable using this amazing resource. So let's take a look at a few of them and hopefully clear up any misunderstandings. So first, anyone can add their opinion to Wikipedia and claim it as a fact. Opinions are not allowed on Wikipedia. What gets included in a Wikipedia article should be backed by reliable secondary sources, and where these sources disagree, all opinions should be documented. If someone adds something that doesn't follow these rules, it will be removed by Wikipedia editors. Second, the editorial control of Wikipedia is left-leaning, progressive, or liberal groups. There is actually not one organization with editorial control over Wikipedia. No single organization controls it. Wikipedia is entirely edited by volunteers and disputes are addressed through open dialogue on the platform. The Wikimedia Foundation may intervene in the editing activity only if it violates the terms of use. The third misconception is that edits done to a Wikipedia article cannot be reversed. This is not true. New edits can be deleted or reversed, and old edits can be restored if necessary. All these changes are recorded in the edit history of the page, and anybody who is interested to find what changes have been done to the article can see the evolution of that article by comparing the different versions. And finally, Wikipedia makes students lazy, hence, they're more likely to commit plagiarism. This was similar to the comment given a while ago about a teacher who has read a Wikipedia article in one of her students' submitted paper. When properly introduced and explained, Wikipedia actually empowers students to do self-directed research using the encyclopedia as a starting point. Wikipedia, therefore, can facilitate the development of key 21st century skills that prevent students from committing plagiarism. So that is all about Wikipedia and some misconceptions about it. Do you still have questions about the topic? If you still have, you can unmute your mic and say them now. So if there is none, you will now go to a break to stretch or to use the toilet or get some drinks and snacks for 5 minutes. You can also use this time to leave some questions or comments in the chat concerning our topic. I'll see you again after the break.